Hey guys, welcome on in, and today I'm going to teach you guys a really fun new way to make a memory wire cuff bracelet. And this is the first time I've done this technique, and normally I just go straight across. I love the braided look. Let me show you guys the ends. I feel like now that I've made one, I might tweak this end part a little bit, but I think it's fine, and it sits perfectly just like that. So I'm gonna show you guys how to make one of these today. It's so easy. If you guys haven't used seed beads with the bead spinner, which you may have if you're a jewel school person, it's so easy, and we're gonna be using these seed beads. And here, these are 8/0 seed beads. We have a huge mix. I've got it in the show if you wanna shop it, but you get all of these. So I'm just gonna use these as my beads. Here's my bead spinner. So what you do is you pour your beads into this little bowl, and then I'm going to be using a bracelet memory wire to string on, and we're going to need 9 coils for this bracelet. I've already done 9, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to string some if you haven't done it before. One little thing to note, you're going to need a grate cutter that cuts memory wire, and this is my favorite go-to, so don't use your regular pliers. Okay, if you're making a full color, like it's all going to be one color, you can actually string several coils at once, and then after you've got like a big segment beaded, you can cut it up into smaller pieces, but we'll see how much I get done. This is a long coil, so I'll just cut this about 4 coils long or something. And then on the opposite end that you're going to be stringing, make a temporary loop with a bail shaping plier or looping plier or round nose plier. Just a temporary loop to kind of act as your bead stopper. Okay. So then on the other side of the memory wire, we're going to take our hands and kind of make this little hook shape like that. Okay. And we are gonna turn on our machine. We are out of stock on this one right now, but you guys may have it at home. But we do have this one if you're interested in a manual one. But I'm gonna be using this one and just start stringing. It does go both directions, so just figure out which way feels right, and you're gonna kind of hold your wire like this in your hand. And just string them on, push them back. And they just go right on. And I'm just gonna string for a while. Fill this little segment up. Okay, I will say this size 8/0, it's so easy. Sometimes I kind of get myself in trouble because I try to spin with tiny beads, but I'm loving this size. So if you have any 8/0 seed beads, I recommend them for this. This is a fun tool. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little bit more, but you can just, you get the idea. You're just kind of dipping it in and they pop right on. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of show you guys how to cut this piece. And once you get a long segment, what you can do is this hook, you don't need this part of the wire anymore, so go ahead and you're gonna cut here. Just cut the little hook off. Well, I'm gonna go a little further down so that there's still a circular motion. Get your bail shaping plier. We're gonna roll the end back, and this is not temporary. This is like your bracelet loop. And while you're here, just to save time, go ahead and close. Make sure that loop is nice and closed with no gaps. The ones that I did, actually, I like to make mine even smaller, so just make them all the same, whatever you want to do. And then push your beads up to that loop. And what I did for mine is I just kind of pushed them down, and where they made one complete circle with the beginning is where I was gonna make my loop, if that makes sense. So just let the beads kind of meet. I'll take one of those off. And then we're gonna cut right here. It's a little less than 1/2 inch, just beyond that bead. I'm actually gonna hold this side, cut it. See, there's my little segment, and now I'm gonna roll that back, and it's gonna be one little coil. Okay, so isn't that easy? Now you can just go back with this one here. The segment you have, go ahead and make another loop and just keep making small coils until you have 9. I need to close that up a little bit more. Okay, and then we'll push it up here. And just kind of eyeball one full rotation. Cut here. And once again, roll it back. And then you would just start a whole nother segment of memory wire and just keep adding your little seed beads. Okay, so that's 2. Remember, you want 9. Also, this pattern will work with 12 strands if you wanna, but we're gonna do 9 today. And so I've got all 9 of my little coils pre-done. Very pleased with myself about that. And I'm gonna show you how to put it together and then how to braid it. Okay. I'm gonna use these. Okay, these are gonna be my spacers for the end bars. These are on our website. They're 6/0 seed beads. They're just in a really pretty gold metallic color. You can use whatever color you want or whatever beads you want. You just want some space between the strands. You can see them here, going on those lines. I'm just gonna pour some out on my mat. And then we're also gonna need some regular wire as well to be the end, so just get some 20 gauge, or you can use, I thought I was using 20, but okay, it's all good. I'm using 18, but you could use 20 gauge as well. And I'm just gonna straighten out the end with my hand. You need about 2 inches or so. Go ahead and cut that. And I'm gonna cut another piece just like that for the other side too. All right, so then I'm going to, which I really love my little tweezer nose plier for this step, but you can use a chain nose too. And the way that I like to do it is just make a little bend, grab the very tip of the wire and bend it over into like a little hook and then squeeze it flat. like that. So that kind of makes a little head pin. And then do a little test, make sure that your beads for the end, make sure that they don't go over that. Okay, so that's good for one side. I'll go ahead and do the same thing for the other little piece of wire, just to have that ready. And squeeze. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna put it together, and I'm psyching myself up. If you can't tell, I'm like, all right, because this braiding part, it's not hard, but you do have to kind of hold everything in this clump while you do it. It's kind of, you'll see, it's kind of awkward, but it's really fun. I love it. Okay, let me check one last thing. I need to make sure all my little loops are closed on my pre-made coils. I think they all should be, but let me just double check. That looks fine. Okay. Just using my little chain nose plier to really get those closed. A few more. That looks good. Close this one a little bit. And another note, I didn't stress out about getting these super tight. Like, I left a little bit of, like barely, but just like a little bit of room at the end. Sometimes I get my memory wire really tight, but it's kind of nice to have a little bit of room to bend. All right, so now we're gonna take one of our little head pins we made, drop one of our spacer beads down onto it, and we're gonna start stringing all these coils on in the same way with the spacer bead in between. So just one on and then a little spacer bead. And just start stacking them till you're done. See how this is going so far. All right. All right, so I've got all my strands on, and my spacer, I need to add one more little spacer bead at the end. And we are going to make a bend. We're gonna cut this and bend it back just like we did the beginning of this other piece of wire. So kind of hold everything in your hand, get a good cutter, like a 1/4 of an inch here. And grab your chain nose and flip that back. Like so, and then squeeze it down. Ta-da! Okay, now comes the fun part, and we're gonna braid. Braiding, it's just a regular 3-strand braid, and you're gonna uh-oh, I'm missing a strand. All right, so that's all good and together. I kind of push, I'll leave it here. I am gonna reset one little piece of wire because once I get it braided, I can't put it down really, and I need to have this other piece for the end set. And just flip that back over into a hook and squeeze. Okay. All right, so that'll be waiting for me. Now you're gonna pick up your bracelet, and this might be helpful. I don't know if it's helpful from above or not, but separate them into groups of 3. We're just gonna start braiding them. I'm gonna start with this one going over the middle. Yeah. And then bring this one over the middle. And then bring this one over the middle and keep rotating. You can kind of straighten out your coils as you go, and you can kind of manipulate the swoopiness of it all. You can do a tight braid or a loose braid, it's up to you. Ooh, I think that's gonna be too tight. I think that's good enough. I was thinking maybe I could try to bring this back over one more time to be in the middle, but I think it's just gonna be a little bit too tight. I could try it though. Nah, let's just not stress out our hand over here. Okay, now basically you're gonna hold everything together. It looks kind of messy, but I can still see my little groups of 3. 1, 2, and 3. And we're gonna thread them onto our piece of wire just like we did before. So take your little, it's 18 gauge. These are little 6/0 beads. Gonna use it like a little needle. Start here. I found that I put it through this one and kind of hold it with your hand right here as you load another bead on. Put the bead on. String. All right, so that's our first group of 3. Now we need to do the next group. And if I really wanted to, I could try to bring that over now, but I'm just gonna stick with the pattern I've got going on. Oops, I lost one. Okay, that's our second group of 3, and then we've got these last 3 over here. I hope my pattern looks okay. My braid looks okay. All right, so it's through the last little loop. Go ahead and push or pull that wire through. I'm gonna kind of adjust, and I can see now it probably would. I'm tempted to just try it real quick to bring that one back over because I don't think that looks right to me. It's kind of lopsided. So I am gonna try really fast to bring that one over. If that's okay. I mean, I think it's okay. I say it's okay. So let's see if this works. I'm just gonna pull it out just so I can go ahead and get started on that part. 1. 2. 3. And then we'll go back and pick up this middle section. See how this goes. This is not, well, this is my take on it. Braided memory wire cuffs are not new. I don't think I have one that I've had forever. It's all like this really pretty burnt orange mix of beads, and I've had it forever. And I really have always wanted to try to make one. So this is my take. It's the one I have is like 20 strands. It's huge. I'll bring it in sometime, and hopefully I'll make this again. I'll refine it a little. Okay, guys, this is hard, but I'm almost done. Okay, oh, just gotta get through this loop. I did it. Okay, so I'm at the end. See my little wire sticking out? I'm actually gonna use my plier to help me get this through because I'm terrified of letting go. And I feel like that did help the bracelet not be as lopsided. I'm okay with the fact that these are a little bent, just I don't know how to get those perfect yet. So let me add one more gold bead. And the very last step is to cut it just beyond that bead. And flip it over. And that's it. That is it. So that is the memory wire cuff. And I really love it. I can't wait to make more of these and kind of refine those end pieces. I think that that will take it up a notch, but for now, I'm loving these fun big cuffs. So I hope you guys enjoyed that and have fun making them. If you do, send me a little picture or something. I'm really excited. If you need to pick up any of the tools or supplies we used today, check out the links in the description below. And while you're there, let us know what kind of memory wire pieces you like to make. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell to be alerted for future episodes. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.